Here's a question that's been on a lot of people's minds lately. What does 2024 hold for the Northern Virginia housing market? And I know, that's a loaded question, but if you're anything like me, you've been watching the trends, hearing the news, and wondering just how all these different factors like school coming back into session, holidays being kind of around the corner, and yes, even the upcoming presidential election of 2024, you're probably wondering, like, what's going to happen, right? What's going to shake out? And I'm going to invite you to grab a coffee right now because today we're going to go deep into what you can expect for the rest of the year in 2024 when it comes to the local real estate market. Now, let's set some basics out first, right? Northern Virginia's housing market has been nothing short of a roller coaster this past year in 2024. We've seen record high prices, inventory shortages, and mortgage rates that have been less than exciting, especially with home prices being where they're at. But there's a bit of hope on the horizon because some experts believe the market is entering a transitional phase. Summer sales have been a bit slow, but the mortgage rates dropping to their lowest levels in 15 months lately, and just more homes coming back on the market, it's showing us that things might heat up in a good way by the end of the year. Whether you're buying, whether you're selling, understanding these market trends, it helps you make smarter decisions. So we're gonna go ahead and break it down. All right, so first up is seasonal factors. As summer wraps up and kids head back to school, there's usually a noticeable shift in the housing market. Families are settling into new routines, and this often means fewer new listings and less buyer activity. In fact, new listings can drop by as much as 10 to 15% during this period. And let's be real, moving during the school year, that's not exactly high up on anyone's wish list when they've got the kids to consider. But it doesn't stop there. The holiday season, spanning from Thanksgiving to New Year's, traditionally brings about a 30 to 40% decrease in home sales nationwide. And this is according to the National Association of Realtors. It's likely everyone just kind of decides to pause on real estate transactions as we move out of summer, right? And who can blame them? Who wants to deal with moving or dealing with open houses and negotiations when there are holiday parties and family gatherings to plan? And of course, the shopping season. But there is some good news. Inventory has been loosening since December, and by June 2024, it reached its highest level in over 4 years. This increase, combined with potential rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, could give the market a much-needed boost as we approach the end of the year. And then there's also that wild card again, the presidential election. Historically, the uncertainty leading up to an election causes both buyers and sellers to adopt a wait-and-see approach. A study by Zillow Research found that home sales can slow by about 15% in the months leading up to the elections, only to rebound by about 10% after the dust settles. And if you remember 2020, we actually saw a dip in transactions right before November. But December, it was like the market took a deep breath and jumped right back into full swing. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, 2024's market challenges. And this year has been a doozy. We're talking about some record high prices, folks. The median sales price in Northern Virginia hit a staggering $695,000 this year. That's an 8.6% year-over-year increase from 2023. This surge places Northern Virginia among the top regions in the US in terms of price growth. We're giving San Francisco a run for its money. But here's the kicker, guys. It's not just about high prices. We're also facing inventory issues that have been brewing since the pandemic. Even though new listings from January to July 2024 increased by 5% compared to the last year, we're still down 35% compared to pre-pandemic 2019. And that was basically the last normal market year. And why is this? Well, a lot of it has to do with what's known as mortgage rate locking. Homeowners with low interest mortgages are hesitant to sell, rightfully so, and take on a new mortgage at today's higher rates. I mean, you gotta be pretty motivated to make a move. And Freddie Mac even found that nearly 85% of homeowners have a mortgage rate below 4%. So unless you really gotta move, why would you move? Now, it's not exciting, but sometimes life happens, you gotta do it. But again, it's just not exciting to go from sub 4 to 6.5%. We're right about there right now. The ongoing shortage of homes for sale remains a significant challenge, with inventory levels still lower than pre-pandemic averages. And experts predict that we won't see a meaningful increase in existing home supply until mortgage rates drop back down to the low 5% range, which is pretty unlikely to happen in 2024. Let's talk about mortgage rates a little bit more, right? Because those have hovered around 7% for most of 2024. But the Mortgage Bankers Association, it mentions that just a 1% increase in rates can decrease a buyer's purchasing power by 10%. Ouch. Now let's talk about how these mortgage rates are squeezing buyers' purchasing power. To make this real, let's say you have a budget of around $4,000 a month for your mortgage payment, and this is excluding taxes and insurance. Now with that $4,000, just remember these aren't exact numbers I'm about to say, and I'm actually not a loan officer, so take all of these figures with a grain of salt. Just trying to paint a picture here. But back in January 2021, when mortgage rates were around 2.75%, that budget could potentially finance a home around a $960,000 house is what you would have been able to afford, right? And that's a pretty typical, somewhat typical loan term in Northern Virginia, where people tend to have a lot of equity to put into the home. Now, by February 2022, when rates rose to just over 4%, that same budget would only finance a home worth about $760,000. Now, fast forward to May 2022, when rates went up to about 5.5% from those pandemic lows. Now your $4,000 monthly budget could only cover a home worth approximately $675,000, creeping down. And now here we are in August 2024, with rates at around 6.5%, that budget only stretches to about $620,000. And remember, I'm not saying take-home income of $4,000. That's just for the housing payment. So that just shows you a reduction of over $340,000 in buying power over just a few years, right? And that's a massive difference when trying to buy a home in Northern Virginia. It's kind of like you were planning for a single family home in somewhere like Alexandria, but ending up with a townhouse in Fairfax instead, right? This squeeze is pushing more and more buyers towards lower priced homes, creating even more competition in that segment of the market, right? Sub $700,000 in Northern Virginia. And though mortgage rates have trended down slightly, they are still hovering above 6%. And that's going to continue to strain affordability, right? All these factors and these recent drops have led to a slight uptick in pending home sales, with contract signings increasing a little bit last month, but affordability still remains a main constraint on the housing market. And experts note that the market will only truly recover when rates drop further and supply catches up. Market behavior and buyer trends. So what's been happening in the market, especially during the peak season, right? Let's just say it's been a feeding frenzy again, right? Just like 2023, during the peak of the spring market of 2024, I had clients who put an offer in on a home, and there were literally 27 other offers on that property in Chantilly. And I'm not kidding. That's a lot of offers, but 27 offers. According to the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors, around 70% of homes listed during this time had multiple offers, with homes selling in an average of 10 days. And the prices, they were just as wild. It wasn't uncommon for homes to sell for $100,000 or more above asking price. In fact, 55% of homes sold in Fairfax County sold above the list price, with an average premium of 12% over asking. Meaning if someone, you get the idea. There's also an extreme few cases where I've seen people bid above and beyond $300,000 over, maybe because they were just tired of dealing with this for the last 2 years of just a crazy spring market, right? The intense competition is definitely easing right now, but the homes that might have gotten 8 to 10 offers in April probably are still getting 2 or 3. And while some homes are still selling really fast and above asking, the premiums that people are paying over and above are much smaller than they were just a few short months ago. But let's say there was a house that might have sold for $100,000 over asking in April. It might only sell for $30,000 over this month in August or next month in September. This is a clear sign that the market is starting to balance out a little bit, but it's also typical of the seasonality, and who's to say what happens in spring 2025. So, if you are in the market, you've been frustrated the last couple of years, and you're on the cusp of giving up, I would say, maybe you can hold out just a little bit longer, right? These rates have come down a little bit, and there is less competition, most likely, in front of you for the next few months. But let's talk about the future outlook for 2024. Now, I'm going to gaze into my imaginary crystal ball for a second, and I'll just kind of speculate on what the rest of the year might have in store. So again, with that presidential election looming right around the corner, we're likely to see that typical election-related slowdown in home sales. And we saw this in 2016, we saw this in 2020, and it's pretty typical. Home sales tend to dip 10 to 15% in October and November, but usually bounce back to that normal curve in December once the election is over and that uncertainty just kind of clears. And here's something else to look forward to. Home prices typically increase the year following a presidential election. Again, just historically, but the National Bureau of Economic Research found that home prices rise by an average of 2 to 3% after an election, especially if the incumbent party stays in power. Take that for what you will, but as for mortgage rates, they often decline in the months leading up to an election as the Federal Reserve and financial markets try to figure out what's going on in the political landscape or whatever reason, right? But you've already seen these rates recently drop from 7% down to 6.5%, and if the Fed signals more rate cuts, well, we could see them dip even further, right? This could provide some more relief for buyers and put a little bit of energy back into the market. So I tell you what, it's been kind of abysmal. It's been kind of rough, unless you're a seller who's magically moving to a new construction or found a house somewhere else. But it's essential to keep in mind that the market's recovery really depends on a few key factors. That's inventory levels especially. But we've seen some improvements here, but many homeowners are just going to be locked in, right? They're just kind of locked into their house, the golden handcuffs we like to call it, where they have those ultra low mortgage rates and they're just not going to sell and take on a higher rate. So until rates drop significantly, we might not see the substantial inventory growth that we need to meet all this buyer demand. And looking ahead, while the road to this housing market recovery may be really long and gradual, honestly, the market has shown resilience in the past, especially here in Northern Virginia, right? So if mortgage rates continue to ease up and inventory improves, we could see a more balanced market start to emerge in 2025. That's just my guess. I don't think it's going to drastically get better next year, but it might get a tick better over time. But once again, just keep an eye on the trends and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you need any help with real estate, you just want to chat, you've got my ear. My name is Vihang V. Nair. I'm a realtor here in Northern Virginia, and we'll see you in the next one.